Hello primary 6 students, how are you and how's everything? Today we are going to have chapter 8 in the story Oliver Twist. Okay, let's go and see what happened there. The title of this chapter is Nancy's Plan. Okay, let's go to the main points that we have. Oliver lived happily in Miley's house. You know that they took Oliver and they treated him well. Then he was very happy. He lived with Miley and Mrs. Miley and her aunt. But on the other side, Bill Sikes caught a fever that made him thinner and more bad-tempered than he was. So he didn't have any money or anything to eat. When Fagin visited him, he asked him to bring him some money. So he sent Nancy with him to the house to bring some money and food. When Nancy went there with Fagin, she made herself as she was a very tired one, and she slept on the table. Then a visitor visited Fagin. Who was this one? He was Monks. So Nancy heard their conversation about Oliver, and she knew everything about their plan, that they wanted to get Oliver into the prison because they wanted him to be a thief, to be hanged, or to be a prisoner for the rest of his life. So she knew everything. When she went out, she decided to run away, but she couldn't. So she came back to Bill Sikes. She was very confused because she was very angry because she brought Oliver to them and she wanted to help Oliver. So she decided to tell Mrs. Miley. When Bill Sikes slept, she went out and asked Mrs. Miley to meet her, and she told her about Oliver's enemies. She means Bill Sikes, Fagin, and Monks, of course. Nancy refused to stay with Mrs. Miley and asked to meet her every week on London Bridge. And she told her if she didn't come, it means that something very bad happened to her. She also asked her to bring a friend who can help. Now let's go to the question that we have. The oral question for understanding. If you understood, you are going to answer this maybe while we are having this together. Number 1, why did Sikes send Nancy and not the Dodger to get the money from Fagin? Okay, why this? Of course, you know they are all thieves. So Bill Sikes was afraid that if Fagin sent the money with Dodger, he may take it and he won't give it to him. So that's why he sent Nancy, because he trusts her. Number 2, what did Nancy want to do in her way back? As we said, she wanted to run away, but she couldn't. She was afraid of Bill Sikes, and also she loves him. That's why she went back home. 3, what did Nancy do after giving the medicine to Sikes? So she gave him the medicine. When he slept, she went away and she went to meet Mrs. Miley to tell her about Oliver's enemy. 4, what did Nancy tell Rose about Monks and Fagin? She told her that Monks and Fagin have a very bad plan. They wanted Oliver to be a thief, to be hanged, or to be a prisoner for the rest of his life. And this will make Monks only the only one who is going to take their father's money. So she knew everything about the bad plan. Let's go to the other slide that we have here for the main questions that you may answer. Oliver lived very happily with his new friends, Rose, Millie, and her aunt, were very kind to him. But his enemies had not forgotten him. What do you mean by his enemies? Bill Sikes, Fagin, and Monks. Bill Sikes had bad luck after the failed robbery at Chertsey. Tubby and Sikes had not been able to steal anything from the house. And now Bill had become ill. He had caught a fever and was very thin. He had no money and not enough to eat. he became more bad-tempered. This is what we have said before. Okay, let's go to the question that you have to answer. Why Oliver lived happily with his new friends? Oliver lived happily because Rosemary and her aunt were very kind to him. They treated him in a very good way. Okay, number 2. Bill Sikes had bad luck after the failed robbery at Chertsey. Explain means that you have to say what happened. So, Toby and Sikes had not been able to steal anything from the house. This is what happened. So, Sikes became very ill, then he couldn't go anywhere to steal anything from anyone. Let's go to number 3. Describe Sikes after illness. He had cold fever and was very thin. Also, he had no money and not enough to eat, and this made him more bad-tempered than he was. Okay, I hope that you have understood everything, and I hope to see you later. Thanks and goodbye.